Welcome in to Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us. On today's show, we have the latest Seattle Seahawks news and rumors on your favorite team of all the happenings this week. We will talk about Kenneth Walker III, what Pete Carroll had to say about an increased workload for him coming up later on. Also, we will look at the Seahawks roster as we have a roster update for you of some potential additions for this Seahawks team. We'll get to all that more in just 1 second. Before we do, with the Seahawks taking on the Falcons this week, that means that here on Seahawks Today, we are in a like battle with our Falcons channel, and they got a little bit of an edge on us right now, 489 likes. We don't want to just beat the Falcons on the field, but we want to beat them on the internet as well and show that the Seahawks have the best fans in the world. The 12s show up and show out. Like today's video, let's put the hammer down to the Falcons and get started with today's show. We begin with an update on the roster for your Seattle Seahawks, as Seattle has tried out 5 different players on Tuesday, including 3 free agent linebackers. Maybe in their tryouts they'll find the next Bobby Boucher, potentially. Here is the guys that Seattle tried out over the last, this week on Tuesday. It includes Tyrell Adams, Nick Dzubnar, Dorian O'Daniel, Cullen, Gillaspia, a fullback and running back, and then Josh Seltzner, an offensive guard. Now, for me, the thing that stands out of these guys that tried out is the 3 linebackers. And with where Seattle is at right now, the truth of the matter is this team really needs help at off-ball linebacker. That is the area of focus where this team needs to find solutions right now. So here are the names. Let's tell you about these guys, beginning with Tyrell Adams. He's appeared in 44 games, making 14 career starts. Previously played for the Raiders, the Bills, Indianapolis, Houston, San Francisco, and Jacksonville. He's been a journeyman player of sorts at this point in his career. And right now, his numbers include 159 tackles, 2 sacks, and 3 forced fumbles at this point in his career. So the statistics don't necessarily jump out, but you're looking at a guy that has had a lot of experience at this point in time for sure. Also, when you look at this team, here is the depth chart right now at the linebacker spots. And you can see that the Seahawks need help. They need help finding those off-ball linebackers at this point. And Nwosu, Brooks, Spartan, Taylor, I mean, that's a good 4 there. But with Alton Robinson out right now and some of these injuries that are going on with this team, they need some immediate help. So Tyrell Adams is probably the most notable name. He's the most experienced of the bunch of the guys that tried out. If you were in charge of the Seahawks, if you had to make the call, would you sign Tyrell Adams? Would he be a guy you bring into Seattle if you were John Schneider and you were the GM of this team? Let me know in the comments section if you would make that move to sign Tyrell Adams. Type S for sign. If not, if that's not your thing, type P for pass. Let me know in the comments section. S for sign, P for pass. Next up of the tryouts for the Seahawks include Nick Dzubnar, and he's appeared in 98 games, no starts. Previously played for the Chargers and the Titans. His career has included 89 tackles, no sacks, no forced fumbles, so not a whole lot to show for at this point for Nick. And essentially, if he wants to make this Seahawks team and if he wants to get a real shot at this roster here, it's going to be very dependent to show something in practice and in these auditions that basically he hasn't been able to show on the field because the playing experience just simply isn't there. A guy that does have experience, that has won a Super Bowl, is Dorian O'Daniel, the former Kansas City Chief. He's appeared in 58 games, 1 career start. He was a rotational linebacker for the Kansas City Chiefs when they won their Super Bowl just a few years ago. Career numbers for Dorian O'Daniel include 58 tackles, 1 sack, and no forced fumbles at this point in time. So for me, of this group, Tyrell Adams and Dorian O'Daniel would probably be the three that I would focus on personally. But we'll see. They need help. There's not going to be a perfect solution, especially at this point in the ball game, but we'll see what the Seahawks do at those linebacker spots. Today's show is presented by BetUS, the exclusive sportsbook partner of Chat Sports. You can go to chatsports.com/bet for a 125% deposit bonus when you use the promo code Seahawks125, a deal just for Seahawks Today viewers. In the latest odds for Sunday, it is a virtual pick'em between Seattle and Atlanta. The Seahawks coming in as just a 1-point favorite. The over-under at 42. So looking at that right there, folks, you got to put your money on the Seahawks, right? I mean, just 1 point. That's it. That's all that the line is. That to me is an easy bet to make. You know I would put my money down on the Seahawks here. You can do the same. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Seahawks125. Now, what's your prediction? How does this game play out? Let us know in the comments section. What's the bet you're going to place? Are you putting your money on Seattle to get this done and win? Tell us your score prediction for the Seahawks and the Falcons in the comments section below. So a couple other names that the Seahawks tried out include the running back / fullback spot, Cullen Gillaspia. He's appeared in 38 games, no starts. Previous played for Houston and the New York Football Giants and came out of Texas A&M. Not a whole lot of numbers to speak of in his career. Just one catch for 6 yards at this point in time. He is a pure blocking fullback. And with Seattle, as much as they want to run the football, they're looking for any blockers they can at this point. So we'll see if Cullen will be an option they look at there. One more for you. On the offensive line includes Josh Seltzner, an offensive guard who went undrafted out of Wisconsin. Spent part of this offseason with the Indianapolis Colts. Ultimately, Seltzner did not make the 53-man roster, but does have a good track record. Back in 2021, when he was at the University of Wisconsin, he was a first-team All-American, according to the Associated Press. And we already know the Seahawks dealing with a couple injuries on the offensive line, so Seltzner potentially could file in one of those backup roles for the Seahawks on the O-line there. Moving on now, let's talk about Kenneth Walker III. The Seahawks running back returned to the team last week to make his season debut. We hadn't seen him since week 1 of the preseason when he was dealing with that hernia injury. Limited load against San Francisco, but head coach Pete Carroll says that he wants Walker to take on a full workload, that he's edging closer to that. Here is what Carroll said this week. We just want to roll him in there and have Rashaad Penny and Ken go at it. They share plays. There's nothing that Ken can't do. We're fine about him pass protecting and catching the ball out of the backfield. And you saw we had him split out, and we went to him yesterday. There are no real restrictions on his play at all other than just getting back into game shape because he hasn't played in a while. The fact that he has made it through the game and he felt all right and he got a couple of times and all that, it just helps us progress. He'll be calling for a regular workload as we are going forward. The numbers for Kenneth Walker on Sunday, we mentioned, did not play a whole lot, just 4 carries for 10 yards. But, I mean, when you look at how things went with the rest of the running game, you have to think that we're going to see more of Kenneth Walker III, and the running game is going to have to step up a lot over these next few weeks. We'll show you some numbers here in just a second from the rest of the running back core. But before we get to that, want to know from you guys what you think. Will Kenneth Walker lead the Seahawks in rushing this week? You see Pete Carroll talking about Kenneth Walker. Does that mean that we are going to see more of him, that he'll get the load where he could potentially be the Seahawks' leading rusher? If you think he will, type Y for yes. If not, that's okay too. Type in for no. Let me know in the comments section. Y for yes, in for no, if Kenneth Walker will lead the Seahawks in rushing this week. Look, the truth of the matter is, this run game for the Seahawks has been outright awful, okay? Through 2 weeks, it has been bad. And I'm not putting all the blame on the running backs, obviously. The offensive line has not done their part. This has been bad. And for this Seahawks team to be successful with the way that they have built this team, you have to effectively run the football. It is right in the core of this offense, the way that Pete Carroll and Shane Waldron have put this thing together. The numbers against Denver, even when they won on Monday Night Football, wasn't great. Rashaad Penny had 12 carries, 60 yards. Geno Smith had 6 carries, 14 yards. Travis Homer had 1 carry for 2 yards. And then last week was just a disaster trying to run the football against a very good front seven from the San Francisco 49ers. Rashaad Penny had 6 carries for 15 yards. Kenneth Walker, first game back from injury, 4 carries, 10 yards. Travis Homer, 2 carries, 9 yards. Geno Smith, 2 carries, 2 yards. This team has to effectively run the football, and I think that we're going to see Kenneth Walker be a big part of that going forward if this team is going to be successful. So, for Seattle, will they rush for over 100 yards on Sunday? They need to. I can tell you that right now. It needs to happen. If Seattle's going to win, it's got to be over 100 yards rushing as a team. Do they get that done? If you think so, type O for over. If not, type U for under. Let me know in the comments section. Will Seattle rush for over 100 yards on Sunday? O for over, U for under. Let me know. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at Tyler Jones Live, where I am talking about your Seattle Seahawks each and every day. Love communicating with you guys there, and we will see you next time right here on Seahawks Today.